In today's video, I'm going to be putting every NFL quarterback into a tier list based on how much pressure they have heading into the season. This tier list is mostly based on their job security. If a quarterback is very likely to keep his job, then they'll go on the no pressure tier. But there's a couple different categories for guys that haven't won a Super Bowl yet, for guys that need to show us more before we can say they're franchise guys. And then we obviously have the rookies. People all the way at the top are, this is it, your final year. So let's get right into it. Mahomes has the least pressure out of any quarterback in the NFL. He could have the worst quarterback season of all time, and he'll still be the confirmed starter for at least another 5-10 years. And that 3 Super Bowls is what the reason is for why Mahomes is just clearly in no pressure. Justin Fields is in this is it because although Justin Fields signed a 2-year $40 million contract, this year is the more important year in that contract. If he goes out there, looks like the Fields that we were used to on the Chicago days, where he would have some flashy moments but couldn't really get the ball out fast enough, struggled with reading a defense. If that's the Fields we get with the Jets, then I think it's over for him as a full-time starter in the league. So that's why this year is a boom or bust year for Justin Fields. Jalen Hurts, you could say Super Bowl, see if he can replicate what he did last year. I'm going to say no pressure. If you just won the Super Bowl, I think people would forgive you if you don't go back-to-back. It's really hard to go back-to-back, let alone win one Super Bowl. And so the Jalen Hurts being able to get it done removes most critics off your back, besides the ones that are going to say it's because of your roster. But you can't deny the fact that he got it done. So I'm going to say no pressure for Jalen Hurts. Dak Prescott, you could say aging veteran. I'm going to say Super Bowl, question mark. I'm not expecting a Super Bowl out of Dak Prescott this year, or really ever. I just think you need to throw him in the Super Bowl tier because he's at that age where he should still be in his prime. He should still be a top 10 QB minimum in the league, and he should be competing at least to win and go deep in the playoffs. And if we don't get that out of Prescott, you could argue he needs to show something more before we consider maybe letting him go in a few years once that contract wraps up. So I'm going to put him in Super Bowl question mark for now, but it's mainly to say get to an NFC Championship game, or at least win a playoff game. Jaden Daniels has no pressure. Obviously, you want to replicate what he did his rookie year, but honestly, all the second year guys, besides maybe 1 or 2 that I might put in show something, are going to be in the no pressure tier. Like, I think Bo Nix has no pressure. I just think guys that already got a lot done their first year, if they have a sophomore slump, then what are you really going to do? Just hope they can bounce back year 3. But I think only 1 year in the league, already showing as much as they did, you can't really say there's too much pressure for them to be even better in just their second year. Now we have Jameis Winston. I'm going to put all the guys that are like basically backups, older backups in the aging veteran tier. We're really not expecting him to do anything. I'm not going to say he has no pressure, because if he's the starter for the Giants, then there's probably a little bit of pressure to get Malik Neighbors the ball, to keep that job. But I just think it's kind of over for him as a full-time starter. And unlike some of the other guys where they're competing to keep their job, Jameis is competing to win a job. So I'm going to put him in the aging veteran tier. Russell Wilson, same thing. He's way past his prime. You know, obviously a decent NFL quarterback can be a solid bridge guy for you, but there shouldn't be any real Super Bowl aspirations or requests if you have Russell Wilson as your quarterback. Just a bridge guy to have and to, mentor your young guy like Jackson Dart, who obviously rookie. I don't think there should be any hot seat predictions as a rookie. Maybe besides one guy, but he was just kind of put in an unfair situation. Jared Goff, I'm gonna put him in Super Bowl question mark. I think if Jared Goff has a big regression without Ben Johnson, it's gonna look pretty bad. But it really just depends on, okay, is he still gonna get his 4,000 yards, still keep his turnovers down, still keep a high completion percentage, and if he can't do those things, then we're gonna have serious questions about him. But for now, I don't think he's really on a hot seat. He got a contract recently, and I think he's gonna be okay for now. Jordan Love, I'm gonna put in show something. I think this year is really pivotal for Love and the Packers. If Jordan Love can't really show anything this season, then next year I think he might be on the hot seat tier. But for now, we just need to see him show something. Maybe get another playoff win. Maybe stay healthy the whole year. Get the 4,000 passing yards. Show he can be an above 62% completion percentage type of guy that you would expect out of a Green Bay Packers quarterback. And he just needs to show consistency like he did a few years ago. JJ McCarthy, it's weird for him because in a way he is a rookie, but at the same time, people are expecting him to be a Super Bowl QB. I'm going to do what I did for the other two guys, put him in no pressure. There's obviously pressure to try and live up to what Sam Darnold did last year, but at the end of the day, he is a rookie. I don't care what good or how good your situation is around you. If it takes time for you to learn NFL defenses, NFL concepts, it takes time and you can't change that. So I'm going to put him in no pressure. Caleb, as a Bears fan, I thought about no pressure, and that's maybe what I'll do. This one's really hard for me. I'm still even considering now what I should do for him. I think no pressure is fair. Has a new offensive coordinator, new head coach, a lot of moving pieces in Chicago. So I'm not expecting them to have an incredible year two. As long as he can play a bit better than what he did last year, show that Ben Johnson and him are going to be a good combo, then that's really all. But no real pressure for Caleb year two. Baker Mayfield, again, I'd probably say no pressure. I really don't think there's too much that relies on Baker Mayfield right now. If he could just keep on doing what he's doing in Tampa, which is near top 10 QB play, the team looks about the same as it did last year, besides the addition of Emeka Egbuka in the draft. And so for Baker, it's really just keep on doing what you're doing, and there's no real pressure for him. Bryce Young, I think Bryce Young is on the hot seat. He showed enough at the end of last year to not be this is it compared to a guy like Justin Fields. But I think if he has a really bad year, they might move off him. If he has an okay year, then next year would be the this is it year because that'd be the contract year. And so I think this year is very important for Bryce Young. I'm not going to say this is it, your last chance, but I do think he is a hot seat quarterback. And then we have Tyler Shaw. It's kind of unfair to put him in a different tier compared to other rookies, but realistically, his leash is so short. The Saints, if he's not a great quarterback, they're going to move off him in a year or just have him as the backup, take Arch Manning in the draft with a top pick. I'm still going to put him in rookie because he's a rookie. You can't really expect me to do anything else. And now we have Spencer Rattler. Assuming he starts over Shaw, for Shaw, I did assuming he starts over Rattler. I think for Tyler Shaw, it's probably going to be this is it. And it's in a different way than Fields. It's not like, oh, he's had opportunity after opportunity and this is his last chance. It's just the fact that if Spencer Rattler doesn't have a great season, just as a okay quarterback, decent quarterback, then the Saints are going to move off that room and get a QB in the draft. So I think in terms of being a starting quarterback, if Rattler starts, which I don't know if he will, this is his last real chance to be a starting guy in the NFL. Michael Penix Jr., it's kind of tough for him. I think I'd say show something. For a guy like Michael Penix who, unlike the other guys, didn't get to play a lot his rookie year, we didn't really get to see him play a ton. I think if you're Atlanta, as long as you get to see Michael Penix show that he can be the guy, that it was okay to spend a top 10 pick on him, and obviously you gave Kirk Cousins that big contract just to bench him, there is higher expectations on Michael Penix than there would be on like a Bo Nix or maybe even Jaden Daniels before he got into the season, just because of the previous, things that were applied to Michael Penix. I don't think he is above the other second year QBs in terms of job security. I just think that, he has to show a bit more than the other guys. Kyler Murray, this might be a hot take. I'm going to actually put him on the hot seat. I think Kyler Murray is a very solid QB, but if he collapses like he does, it seems like every year, I think they're really going to have to consider a different option other than Kyler. Because if you're a team like the Cardinals who have been just stuck in mediocrity for a really long time now, in this Kyler Murray era, you had that one pretty good season, but after that, it's just been a lot of mid. Injuries have kind of messed him up too. But like I was saying, if they can't find a consistent, really good playoff season from Kyler Murray this year, you might have to consider the season after next a different QB plan. Now we got Sam Darnold. I think it's going to be hot seat. He obviously got paid a lot in the offseason, 3 years, I think $100 million. So this season, he's not on the hot seat. But you have Jalen Milroe, really talented quarterback from Alabama, sitting in the wings, ready to take his spot if needed. And if Sam Darnold looks like the Sam Darnold of old from, pre-Vikings days, I definitely do think then it's going to be hot seat. I'm just going to put him there now because realistically, his leash, we like to think it's long. He's got a pretty short leash in Seattle. Brock Purdy is show something. Show that you can be a Super Bowl quarterback. Show that you can be a top 10, top 5 guy because that's what you're getting paid compared to other QBs that are, getting paid similar money as you. You need to show that you can be a top 10, top 5 guy. Is he that? I'm not too sure. I just think for now that Brock Purdy really needs to show that he is worth that contract. He's worth that big pay. And he's worth the team getting worse for him to get his bag. Matthew Stafford, aging veteran. I do think there is Super Bowl talks in LA. I have the Rams in the Super Bowl as my NFC team in a lot of predictions. Not every single one, but most. But still, Matthew Stafford is an aging veteran. You can't expect too much out of a 38-year-old that's not named Tom Brady. And so I think saying Matthew Stafford needs to carry his team 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, it's kind of crazy to ask for. I think he should still compete and have a good season, but I just think that he needs to be the MVP. He needs to do everything. That's kind of crazy to say this late into his career. Herbert, I'm going to put in this Super Bowl tier with Dak, Jared Goff as well. I think Herbert, more than any of them, I used to have it titled, win a playoff game, specifically for Herbert, because yes, he's had great regular seasons. Yes, he's had great stats in the regular season. But once he's gotten to the playoffs, it's been rough. It has not looked pretty. 2 pretty embarrassing games in different ways for Herbert and the Chargers. And so if this year, another good year, and he chokes in the playoffs, we might have to start having those Phillip Rivers, Dan Marino comparisons. Geno Smith, I think another aging veteran. I don't think he's the long-term plan for the Seahawks, or it's not the Seahawks, the Raiders. I think it's just like a bridge, maybe 2-year bridge window where they're kind of figuring everything out and we'll find a QB from there. But for now, I will say aging veteran for Geno Smith. Aiden O'Connell, I'll just put him in the no pressure tier because he's going to be a backup. I don't think he's ever going to really be a full-time starter again. So I guess there was no pressure for him in that regard. Same thing with Mason Rudolph. Will Howard, obviously rookie. Aaron Rodgers, aging veteran. He's 40 years old. He does have a good team around him in Pittsburgh. I'm nervous with the receiving core and running back room, but I still think that with that incredible defense, they should be able to get 9-10 wins, maybe get to the playoffs. But the expectation shouldn't be Super Bowl with Rodgers anymore. Burrow is going to go Super Bowl. Lamar is going to go Super Bowl. Both of these guys, AFC North demons, some of the best QB talent we have ever seen at the position. But they both don't have a Super Bowl ring. One hasn't even made it to the Super Bowl yet. Lamar, he's had some great teams around him, and it's just been choking the playoff every single year. It's like, when are we going to see it change for Lamar? And then for Joe Burrow, I get it. The defense is really bad. You don't have too much around you. It's really hard to make a Super Bowl run with this type of team. But you have to consider, like, Joe Burrow, he's getting paid top QB money. He is earning what the best in the league get. And although he is playing like the best in the league, I still think if you are the top dog, you want to be talked about with the Mahomes, with the Bradys, you need to go and get that Super Bowl ring by any needs necessary. I would compare Joe Burrow to Dirk Nowitzki 2011 run. Just knock out every team that on paper is better than you, but just be the dominant force that no one can get through. That's what Joe Burrow needs to be. Deshaun Watson, I don't even want to put him on the tier list. I think for the tier list sake, let's just not even put him on. Joe Flacco, aging veteran. I mean, what else is there really to say? I guess Kenny Pickett would technically be in This Is It if he gets the starting nod in Cleveland. I get it. It's not a great situation, but if you're Kenny Pickett, you kind of have to be grateful that you get another chance. And as a quarterback that's fighting for starting QB reps, for starting QB playing time, if you can get that chance, even if it's with a bad team, you got to take it and use it the best you can. And this is Kenny Pickett's last chance, like Rattler, like Fields. And if it doesn't work out this year, never going to see full-time starter potential again. Now we have Dylan Gabriel, rookie, and same thing with Shedeur Sanders. These guys are both rookies. I mean, there's not really anything else to say. Josh Allen, take what I said for Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and you can apply it to Josh Allen as well. He obviously has Super Bowl or bust aspirations every single year, like he should. He's played great in the playoffs, unlike some other guys, Herbert, Lamar, but I beg to differ. As long as Josh Allen can go and get the Super Bowl, there's no real, oh, is he going to lose his job type of pressure. It's really just get your Super Bowl, get your appearance, and that's really all we're asking for. Tua, show something. I think Tua needs to show, one, that he can stay healthy, two, that he can win a playoff game, and three, that he can be healthy for a playoff game. It's really just all kind of the same thing. Get your team into the playoffs, stay healthy for the whole year, avoid the injuries, and we know he can be a guy that leads the league in passing because he did it 2 years ago. I get it, that was a weaker year, but he can do it. We know the talent from Alabama. We just need him to go out there and show it. Drake May, I'm going to say no pressure. Like Caleb, like Bo Nix, like Jaden Daniels, like JJ McCarthy. Not thinking about it. It's a bit unfair. I put Michael Penix in show something, but he does have to show a bit more than these other guys who have a longer leash because they were given the normal rookie treatment, not having to compete with a guy that's getting $180 million. So, yeah. CJ Stroud, I'm going to say no pressure for Stroud. I think if he continues to have this weird slump he's in like he did last season, then maybe a bit of pressure, but still in his first 2 seasons has won a playoff game, has won the division in each. So if you're a team you would not complain about that production from most point of views and most NFL team standpoints. Cam Ward, rookie, I think he has the least amount of pressure in the NFL because his team is not good at all. Number one pick, so it's not like he's going to be able to drag his team to wins. And I think he's got no pressure this season. Just figure it out in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence, I'm going to say hot seat. I think he's closer to Bryce Young than he is to Justin Fields. But for Trevor Lawrence, it's really hard. I do feel like this is basically his last chance. He's getting paid like it's not, but in a way it is. You get another offensive coordinator, another head coach, the best team around you I've seen Trevor Lawrence have, not only on the defensive side, but on the receiving game, in the running game. The O line's solid. It's like, what more can we really get you for you to play like a below average QB? And so I think this is the hot seat season for Trevor. Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones for the This Is It tier to wrap it up. I'll talk about both of them. Let's talk about Daniel Jones first. I really don't think there's too much expectation on him, but this isn't a full expectation video. I think in terms of being a starter, full-time starter, again, this is his last chance. It didn't work out for 6 years with the Giants, and so now in Indianapolis getting to compete for a starting job, if he goes and plays like crap, then it's over for him. And Anthony Richardson, probably the youngest guy I've seen in a minute that is on the do or die kind of scenario where it's either he goes, proves everyone wrong, and gets to be the full time starter for the foreseeable future in Indy, or they're going to go and find a new QB again. It'd be poetic for the Colts to draft Arch Manning, Peyton Manning obviously being the longtime QB for the Colts. It would be pretty interesting to see that go down, but I still think Anthony Richardson can be one of the best QBs in the league. I still have that kind of ceiling with him. He needs to work on his passing. He needs to work on his attitude, his mentality, but I think he has a chance still. But this is like that last kind of determining season for him. And that's going to be it for today's video. This outro is going to be short because I'm out of breath from talking. My voice is hurting. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.